Do our player introduction here.
It looks like okay, it's you.
I think it's me controlling.
It is.
Okay, I'll do the best job not to be too twitchy. Top left-hand side, the Korean Protoss trailing 1-2. It is Liquid HerO. And his opponent in the top right-hand side, the French Millennium Zerg Stephano. One possible scenario to talk about IdrA is there's a lot of Protoss here. We had MC toppling Puma. We have a PvP. And then we have our #1 seed Puzzle taking on Ro8. Does Stephano want to be left in a room alone with a bunch of Protoss?
A couple of months ago, I would have said absolutely yes. He looked just absolutely invincible against Protoss when the Roach timing was just his, with the other Zergs couldn't do it nearly as well. And other Protosses only dealt with it when playing against him. But now Protoss has just got a lot better against playing against his style, and so it's just kind of come down to who is the better player. And that could still very well be Stephano, but he doesn't really have such a stylistic advantage in the matchup as he used to when he was less explored.
I think that's absolutely true. We do have a Forge First coming down, and it will be scouted from our Zerg player, Stephano. But that Forge First is going to be pretty much a non-factor, as the Nexus does go down almost immediately behind it at 18 supply. And that's pretty good, because especially on these positions for Shakira's Plateau, there's a lot of space behind the mineral line here at the natural. Not too much of a cannon rush opportunity. And of course, the third base doesn't offer like a Cloud Kingdom or Daybreak, where there's some kind of map aid in making a cannon rush stronger.
No, if you take cannon rush at the third base, and any kind of aggression at the third base, it is going to be just dependent on the element of surprise. You're going to be hoping that your opponent doesn't realize that it's coming, and then you get cannons up on the high ground above the third hatchery or something of that sort. It's not the kind of cannon rush that you actually can't prevent.
Right.
As like you said, you can't have that on Daybreak and other similar maps.
Now we're getting close to that 23 supply, which has been about the time that Stephano looks to take his third, and that's exactly what we'll see here. A Zergling clearing the path, checking, making sure it's safe for the drone, and it is just that. Probe kind of making its way out here. It was spotted by the Overlord, now spotted by the more deadly version, well, not version, but the Zergling. And this time, I don't think there will be a cannon rush. No,
it does seem that Stephano's on top of that. Interestingly, he didn't really scout this high ground. He always seems to not scout nearly as well as he should, but then he catches everything of importance, except for that last game where the cannon rush got through.
They call it Star Sense, Greg. It's something that some of these people are born with. Stephano played Warcraft 3, but little did he know he was just waiting for StarCraft 2. And we do have the 3-hatch gasless style from Stephano. You know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't see any reason why you'd want to necessarily go speedling on this map, as there is a ramp leading to the natural, which would make it so that speedlings are just that much less effective in the earlier stages of the game.
Yeah, and this is not a map where there's a ton of different pylon placements or anything. Interestingly enough, he doesn't actually have any Zerglings at the center towers. However, you do put Zerglings at those locations. You have pretty much total vision. There's only a couple of pylon placements. No need to go speedling at all. Just the perfect map for the 3-hatch gasless. This third base is a little bit exposed, which is the only thing he has to worry about. But by that point in the game, it's possible to have creep connecting the bases before Protoss can really get in there and do any kind of significant damage.
And here we are at that kind of 200 area of resources. There it is. It's going to be the robotics facility. It's kind of worried we're going to see another Stargate, as that has resulted in a 1-2 score so far. It's time to shake it up, as HerO has lots of weapons in his bag. I mean, he's not... You don't watch HerO games and go, oh, this is what HerO does every time right now. He's not that kind of a player. He does a lot of things, and he does them really well.
And Stephano now sending in both Overlords to scout. However, HerO smartly keeping his Stalker near the tech building, denying that Overlord. So Stephano, I don't believe he got vision of it.
He did not.
He did not.
He technically got vision of one, and he's perhaps maybe going to circle around to confirm or deny those findings, and that's exactly what he will do.
He does see the gases, but he will not see the robotics. And interestingly, I think we might see the Warp Prism Harass coming from HerO here. That's a build that he absolutely loves. I've seen him do it on this map in particular before, and a lot of different maps. I know he's considering doing it on dual site going into this match, even potentially on Tiga Shipyard. Definitely something I think we could see from him on here, whether it's just light harass 4 sentries in the mineral line, 4 sentries above the ramp, or if it's actually a Warp Prism plus Blink Stalkers moving into the main. One way or the other, I think that's what we'll see. But we do have 2 observers already on the way from HerO.
Gateway is just now being added as well. There's so many options on this map. I mean, we talk about how hard it is to hold the third base, but outside of that, Blink Stalker, Sentry at the ramp kind of tactics have been seen. Warp Prism Harass in general is very good because there is space behind those mineral lines, but also just quite a distance between the three. And I know a lot of Protoss sometimes actually like to drop it here and then just siege that third base from the high ground. Again, using the sentries to block off entry at the ramp.
However, it is actually going to be an Immortal build.
There it is.
He opens up the Immortal, and this is such a hard map to take a third on. I think that almost has to be an Immortal all-in.
Okay.
You don't really want to try and take a third very quickly on this map with Immortals. It's just not mobile enough to cover both entrances.
His back's against the wall. I mean, Greg, this is something we haven't seen just yet. It's a lot of Lings, which is a little bit different from Stephano. In Ages Old, he still opened Lings and then went Roaches. But in this case, it's just the one Evolution Chamber, Roach speed on the way, but +1 range attack. In the past, it's been melee upgrades. And I think this is mostly a fake third, I have to imagine. There are no gateways just yet.
Good force fields from HerO. That was a good surround in there from Stepano. This is
a lot of Zerglings.
Yeah, that's making that many Zerglings early on can be good, can be bad. That's a lot of larvae invested. However, he did see the Immortal. He did see the units. He caused a lot of force fields. He even killed one sentry, I believe. That might even be enough to scare HerO off of doing the attack.
You know, I mean, one of the ways you hold off the Immortal push is by getting those force fields used at a really bad time. We do have
Stepano
a break here from
pauses the
Stephano. But I also want to say he is adding 2 gates behind this, which is really interesting because I feel like that's either mustering up for the potential push or it's saying, well, shoot, my third Nexus is being delayed. I need more time.
He's adding a couple of pylons too, so it looks like he's going to continue to warp in units. He's not really looking to put down that big attack coming in here from Stepano. That's quite a few Zerglings. If he gets a good surround, there's not a whole lot of force fields, maybe
and
4.
He's just buying so much time, Greg. I mean, that's a big problem here for HerO. And like you said, he doesn't have a lot of sentries out. Well,
a lot more sentries warp in there. That helps a lot. He's going to be able to cut off at least half the army if he force fields well. But he's moving out here in the center. He's setting himself up perfectly for a flank.
It's a huge flank. There's Zerg everywhere. He's getting a surround. Force fields go down, but critical units are being attacked.
Targeting down the sentries perfectly, absolutely exactly what Stepano wants to happen. Everything is just dying.
Oh my gosh. He's targeting sentries, but he's running out of things to target because HerO just might die right now. Both
all the
Immortals
are down. All the Immortals are down.
That is such a huge loss to HerO. He has nothing to transition off of. There's no Twilight Council. There's no robotics bay. He just has Stalkers to his name, and they can't hold a Nexus. That's exactly what he's going to try to do because, quite frankly, he has no other options.
He has one more Immortal, but as long as Stepano keeps up the pressure, no force field, there's no way. He knows that. He warps in a bunch of sentries. That's just not going to be enough. With Stefano's control, he's going to dance around that bait force fields and then go in whenever he has the opportunity. And he surrounds a couple of seconds in. Good force fields from HerO. But it's just a delaying action at this point. He's going to force a cancel on that Nexus as well.
And the Nexus does get canceled. The pylon even goes down as well. And again, those sentries are exposed. Stepano will not let that mistake go unchecked. 2 sentries do survive. Another warp in of Stalkers. But look at that production tab and look at the minimap. It's just Zerg, Zerg, Zerg coming across there. He knows, hey, I'm on 3 base. I'm winning the exchange. I'm ahead in supply. Why would I not keep the pressure up?
Exactly, and he's putting down a 4th hatchery behind it. Stepano, always just perfect decision making, knows exactly what's going on, how to take advantage of it. And he really understands the concept of just trading units in order to make your opponent uncomfortable, even if it's inefficient. He is absolutely perfect at taking advantage of an advantage. He knows really how to push it perfectly.
And again, the Nexus goes down, only to get killed! And oh no, more sentry being exposed. And HerO's just trying to survive right now, but he's not able to get a 3rd base up. The supply deficit is staying about the same. It's roughly 24, 25 supply ahead for the Zerg player because he is losing units. But Greg, like you said, with a 4th base going down behind this, if the Zerg can establish a +2 base economy, that's really hard to come back from, especially with no Warp Prism or DT.
Yeah, and trading Roachling for Sentry Immortal, Zerg will take that any day. Those units are much more expendable. HerO can't keep replacing them like this. One Immortal goes down, a lot of Sentries go down, and he just runs away without losing many Roaches.
And right now, HerO is taking a bath in Roaches. They're everywhere, and every time he doesn't want to face a Roach, there's a Roach. It's like a terrible apartment in Miami or something like that. It's just everywhere. Stephano coming forward again, looking to trade more of those Roaches out, still with just +1 range attack. Well, it's 1/1 upgrades for the Protoss, but again, no Twilight Council, so that's about the end of that story, as all resources are going to go to trying to get this 3rd base and establish it.
If you can get some Immortal count up, if you can maintain his sentries, but he can't.
Oh, it's just too much.
Just so aggressive, uses his units so well.
Really good target fire. One Immortal goes down immediately, but now they're in the clutches of the Zealots. Sentry's still getting targeted down, and HerO's starting to kind of stabilize. I mean, we talk about how good these trades are, but at the other side, well, I don't know. That Nexus going down there hurts a lot. But I do want to say this. This Protoss army is starting to get larger.
Yeah, he has 2 Immortals left. Stefano's kind of overcommitting this. He's producing pure units. He doesn't really tech. He has only the +1 upgrade.
Yeah.
There's no drones at that 4th base. He's just now taking his 4th gas. In fact, I don't know. HerO
It's
may have
only
just
12 supply
controlled
now.
himself back into this game.
He went after
we talked about how well Stephano controlled those battles, and he was trading really efficiently, but at the same time, HerO was making the best of a terrible situation.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of units now. Good force fields, sectioning out most of the roaches. That one Immortal is exposed, it will go down. However, he's just losing so many roaches here, and he's continuing to produce pure low-tech units.
And HerO will not go down without a fight. That supply deficit's now fallen to 7, and Stephano might try to make the aggressive move to go up that ramp. I think that'd be a mistake. The third Nexus is now nearing 50% completion, so it is actually, for once, getting established. Great observer spotting from HerO. He's starting to stabilize. Sentries are anchoring this army, still with the one Immortal and now a Warp Prism. I don't know how HerO got it, but he's here, and he's actually starting to really look like he could come back.
Yeah, Stephano has realized that the attacks are not working. He's getting a second Evo chamber. He's restarting upgrades. He's putting down drones and more gases. But he's in a pretty uncomfortable situation right now. That Roach Fling, as long as that Immortal count keeps growing, and he's actually putting down a Robo base, so he will add in Colossus as well. That's just a way higher tech army than Stephano wants to deal with. And plus that War Prism. He just has nothing back in the main base to deal with that.
I am absolutely stunned by HerO's defense. I mean, every time a sentry just moved just a little bit too far, he was immediately picked off. Immortals always getting focused down, but he used that to his advantage with that last Immortal. I mean, Stephano kind of sent his entire army to go snipe it, and as such, it was actually a mistake because he pulled the needle through the thread, and that was all she wrote for that Zerg push. But now we have a
warp in
Warpin
from HerO.
Yep.
5 Zealots, units already on the way back from Stepano. Such great weapon awareness. He always knows exactly what's happening. Those are going to be killed off. However, his army has been pulled out of position, and Liquid HerO is moving in to take advantage of that. If he actually gets up into this base, I don't know if I like that move, though.
No,
he does not want to get caught on creep.
Exactly. He's got a Colossus on the way with the range upgrade. He might have been just trying to fight back that creep, and I think that's a really big deal in the mid game. But Stephano, I mean, to your point, you were talking about how Stephano was actually hedging a lot of his strategy essentially on killing HerO with that army. He's just now barely saturating his 4th. His upgrades are extremely underwhelming. Just one range attack, that's it. +1 melee and +1 carapace are along the way. But with Infestors coming out, I don't know. I mean, it's going to come down to the Colossus, and he needs those force fields from game 1 if he wants to, or game 2, excuse me, on Daybreak.
And interesting, HerO has broken down those rocks to the 12 o'clock base. I really like that. That's going to be a very difficult 4th base for Stephano to attack. And Stephano isn't going Hive, which means there's no real pressure on HerO to attack anytime soon. Until he sees that Hive, he's comfortable to just sit back and build up a Death Ball and continue to Warp Prism harass as he's known for.
Yep.
No Spire on the way either, so unless he gets caught by Infestors, that Warp Prism is pretty invulnerable for the time being.
Not a lot of Harvesters have been killed this game. It's remained fairly competitive. 8 probes down and just 2 drones down. This army of the Protoss is starting to look really big.
And they're on equal supply, and Stephano is just now getting up to 1/1 on his Roaches, 1 Carapace on his Zerglings with +1 melee, +2 melee on the way. That's not going to be a good fight for Stephano unless he gets miraculous bungles off.
The Broodlords are a long ways away. Just now the Hive is queued up. Spire, of course, will be complete by then, but it's the Hive that takes a long time to get there. And with the Warp Prism kind of keying in on, okay, the Zerg's looking to play more passive, I think we see a 3-base, maybe 4-base max Protoss pushing pre-Broodlords.
We do have a pylon next to, that's absolutely great from HerO. He realizes he wants to spend his Robo time on Colossus and the Immortals, so instead he's putting down a pylon next to the main to continue to warp in.
I'm copying the crap out of that. That's
that
so
is
sexy.
An excellent tactic from HerO. He continued to harass with the Warp Prism at the bottom right base. At the same time, Stephano is moving in, looking to poke, but there's no way he can attack into that choke. HerO with
no.
He loses the Colossus unnecessarily. But he gets a bunch of roach kills.
Always a bargain shopper. HerO does go ahead and get a little bit for return, but there has been a warp in at that 4th base. And unfortunately, I think this is actually working against HerO as he does lose a few Stalkers
but
and some
warp
Zealots.
in the main at the same time, 5 Zealots. They might get the Queen. They should get the Queen. We'll see. But Stephano's army is just being run all over the map, constantly out of position. At the same time, the main army from HerO is moving in, has a great angle here. A couple of Infestors there, but with Colossus in the army, he really needs to spread that out.
It's just Infestors. Those force fields are so good. I mean, the fungals are big, but there's nothing to support them right now, and as long as this army can not eat gigantic fungals, I think he'll be in good shape. Again, that was a big fungal, but there's a good concave here.
HerO's spreading his army out so well, the fungals just can't be as efficient as they have to be. He's pulling back. I don't know. There's only the 2 Colossus there. That is a bit scary if you get huge fungals. And the Corruptors come out. The perfect timing on the pullback from HerO. I don't know if he knew that was coming or it was just sense, but that saved his Colossus. He's going to be able to continue to build up and push it again before the Broodlords morph.
He's got to be careful. He's kind of ran out of force fields, and this is a very dangerous moment. 3 Colossi are here, but he's so stacked up on himself. He's got to watch out for those fungals. And this Protoss
big fungal there in the center of the army, but that's just taking away shield. I don't know. These aren't really the fungals that Stephano needs. Good force field,
those
but just
force
not
fields,
so many
no,
of them.
and with the Corruptus here, they're getting at those Colossus. HerO has been fighting back and forth with Stephano, but I don't know if he'll survive this. All the Colossus are down. The Roaches pushing past the force fields. Can HerO claw his way out of this hole? I'm not sure. He is starting to micro back those units, but all of the Immortals are dead. And Stephano...
But more stalkers coming in and join the battle and actually push Stephano back. He has no infestal energy left, but he's reproducing constantly on Roach Sling. And it's going to be too much for HerO. He has to retreat.
He does have Blink, but all this time he has not been warping in, or excuse me, building a fourth base. He's lost the Colossus with those Corruptors in the air. I don't think he feels comfortable making any more Colossus. We see that Robotic Space has fallen dormant. It's just going to be Blink Stalkers. And with Infestors out there and a good ground army, I mean, I've been doubting HerO all game long, so I probably should shut up about it, but it's like,
I don't know. At this point, the Greater Spire's about to finish. He has enough energy or enough resources to more 6 Broodlords immediately. Lots of Roach Sling. Those Infestors now have Fungals. That's quite a few Stalkers, but it is only Stalkers. No higher tech army, no Templar tech. As soon as those Broodlords are out, it's pretty much over for HerO. At the same time, a big Zealot warping into the main is actually hitting spawning pool, but it will be cleaned up. Stepano with just such good harass response.
He's just already there. And those Warpins are precious. I mean, those would have been Stalkers otherwise in this army. Guardian Shield does go up. He's looking to get a good concave here. This is a lot of Stalkers. They do have some Sentry support. There's the Force Fields, but it's the Broodlords entering the field.
And a big Fungal there. The Sentries are all exposed. They get surrounded by the Zerglings, and everything falls down.
And that's such an expensive loss. HerO's going to fight back, but he might have found himself staring down the barrel of a Zerg, and this is just too much stuff. Main base is mined out. Your natural is mined out. Your third does not look safe. Stephano is wandering across the map with what could be the end of days for Protoss in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely no response to us. He's entirely dependent on a big blink in, and there's too many units. Even if he blinks in, everything's going to die. Those Broodlords will not fall in time, and Stephano with his back against the ropes.
This angle's really powerful. It is not really a good blinking opportunity, but he's going to take it. There he goes. 2 Templar, 4 potential feedbacks, but there's not even any Infestors a part of this army because Stephano doesn't need them. He's shoving forward Zerglings and Roaches and Broodlords alike. Everything here is destroying HerO, and our brave Protoss player has done a good job, but unfortunately for him, it is Stephano's day.
More units fitting in from Stepano. That'll be the nail in the coffin. HerO, no way you can hold this off now. Stepano, in fact, taking his headphones off. Obviously.
And that is just an amazing display of skill. Give it up for your winner, Millennium Stepano.